welcome to your Business Connection. I'm Greg Wilson, Director of Department of Minority and Women Business Development.
And I'm Terry Daniel. This television show is made possible by the City of Indianapolis Department of Minority and Women's Business Development and Government Access Television, Channel 16.
Today I would like to welcome our very special guest, Julie Grice, Executive Director of Business Ownership Initiative and the Central Indiana Women's Business Center. Julie, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Greg and Terry. It's really great to be here.
We have so much great information to share with our viewers today, so let's get started. First, tell us about the Business Ownership Initiative.
Business Ownership Initiative is a nonprofit that helps individuals to launch and grow their own businesses, and we do so by providing free one-on-one business coaching. We also have workshops and seminars, both live and online, and then we have a micro-lending program also that we're very excited about.
Thanks, Julie. I understand that BOI and the Central Indiana Women's Business Center is now under the umbrella of the Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce. Could you talk a little bit about that?
That is correct. We have aligned with the Greater Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce to help provide some real benefits and additional benefits not only to their membership but also to bolster their economic development efforts in the region by really being able to get in the trenches with business owners, whether they're members or not, but to be able to get into trenches with them and folks who have an idea for their own business and provide real value.
Awesome. I know that we have worked as an agency with BOI for many years now and have been able to really refer quite a few of our clients and small business owners to BOI, and they have really been able to take advantage of a lot of the services and coursework and content and things like that you all provide. So we thank you for that, and we're looking forward to that partnership continuing.
That's great to hear.
You know, Julie said something to me upstairs, and I wanted to repeat that. It's all about cash.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the bigger concerns our businesses have is where can I get the business loans? I mean, it's a struggle with some businesses getting those loans from the banking institution for various reasons. Can you tell me a little bit about your program and how it really addresses that issue?
Absolutely. We have a micro-lending program that's available to individuals. The program is not based on your personal credit score, but rather on your ability to repay the loan in with affordable terms. And initially, we are able to offer anywhere from $1,000 to about $14,000 in cash to individuals right now. It's a fairly rigorous process to get the funding, but it's one that with our free business coaching, we really come alongside you to help make sure that A, you truly need the cash, or perhaps is there a way that we can help you find the cash within your own reserves on your own in a way that won't hurt you and so that you don't need to incur any more debt. But if we find that, in fact, that additional loan would help grow your business, then we're there to provide that loan where typically banks within their business model just truly cannot.
Well, will these loans be available for startup business, or are they just for businesses that have been in business for a while?
That's a great question. They're available both for startup and for existing businesses, and they are also available to our neighbors who might not yet be citizens but are here, so we ask for not Social Security number but ITIN number as well. And so we want to make sure that folks know who are out working hard, creating businesses, whether they're our French-speaking neighbors from French-speaking Africa or our Latino business owners, that we have that resource available to them as well.
Well, I have a question for Terry, too. Terry, you know, as we're working with BOI, tell us a little bit about what businesses say are the challenges for them. What will you find, you know, normally businesses will come to you or your representatives in the department to talk about?
Definitely access to capital is a really huge challenge for a lot of the businesses that we talk to on a daily basis. They have sometimes problems with, their personal credit. A lot of them don't understand that, their personal credit history in most cases for traditional loan opportunities really do, it plays a big part into, what they're able to secure for a line of credit or loan. And then unfortunately some of them moved to things like factoring, which I hate to say that, but those types of Greg knows that's one of my favorite programs. But some of them, them unfortunately move to those types of situations because they're trying to manage, that capital and being able to meet their payroll on a weekly basis and those types of things, being able to buy products and supplies and things like that. Mm-hmm. So definitely access to capital is probably one of the biggest challenges that we hear. So in lieu of that, with the micro-lending program, I heard you mention that their personal credit history, it plays a little bit of a part, because I know that, and understand that you all do look at that. But what are some of the other criteria that you all look at in a complete package of actually evaluating a client for the microloans?
Right. You're right. We do pull personal credit history, but the purpose of that is to assist in the individual in remediating that. Mm-hmm. We have a loan committee that exists that has one or two bankers on it, but it has mostly entrepreneurs on it. Yeah. And so with our coaching and assistance in helping our clients to pull together a loan application, of course we help them with a business plan, we help them with a cash management plan, so that we and our loan committee can take a look at the viability of the plan, the viability of the business idea or the business concern as it is, and make certain that the monies that we fund to that client won't add burden, but will instead free them up for their business to grow. And it really takes an entrepreneur, small business owner on our committee to be able to see those opportunities and say, yeah, I think the credit score wouldn't be something that a bank would take a look at. Frankly, since 2008, whose credit score hasn't taken a personal hit? Yeah. But this is something that we can really add value and maybe even add a job or two into the community by making this $4,000 loan or this $10,000 loan. And I will add that we are actively engaged in discussions with multiple sources to be able to increase our loan capacity up to the point where, a bank minimum is.
Got a question real quick before I go to Nicole. Tell me, everybody gets a loan when they come in. You turn no one down. And
I wish I could say that, but that's not true. When we receive a loan application, we know we have a choice of one of two answers: yes or not yet. And perhaps the not yet means we're able to work with them long enough that they discover they don't even need a loan. Yeah, okay. They can cash flow it and still pay themselves and not even need to incur debt. Or they might need to work a little bit more on their business plan, on sourcing. We just want to make sure in a not yet that we're not hurting someone more than we help them.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because I wanted to make sure people understood that just because you go in and apply doesn't mean you'll get the loan, but at the same time they'll help you understand what you're missing, what you need to do to be able to qualify for that particular loan. So people, when they leave, doesn't mean you'll never get a loan from your organization.
That's correct.
But you give them points of what they can do to be able to get that loan, right?
Absolutely. And we hook arms with them if they're willing to, again with our free coaching, to be able to help them get to the point where their business is where they want it to be, whether it's with a loan down the road or without a loan down the road.
Okay.
So
that's a really, really great program. Could you maybe give us an example of some, maybe a business owner that was able to secure a loan and how that kind of turned out?
Sure, absolutely. We met a gentleman at a local, in a local neighborhood here, and had been on disability, but he had been a commercial painter, and he had a contract for a $3,000 job, but was understandably frustrated because he didn't have the $1,000 that he needed to buy supplies and pay wages to fulfill the job. So, and the contract was supposed to start 4 days from that point. So we were able to, he was willing to work with us to put together an application package, and we were able to fund him the $1,000. And it was terrific because before his first installment payment was due, he came in the office with $1,007.56 in cash.
Wow.
And said, here's my loan paid back. I want my truck title back. And here's a contract for $23,000, and I need a $4,000 loan to fulfill this. Well, gosh, that's an easy decision right there. So we were able to fund that $4,000 in fulfillment project needs. And now with the profits he's made from that $23,000 loan, he's now cash flowing himself an $80,000 contract in just 6 months. So, you know, people ask us all the time, well, what can $1,000 do? Well, it took a young man from being on disability to being able to cash flow an $80,000 federal contract.
That is awesome. So we could safely say that this really does work.
Yes, it does.
If managed correctly and with the business coaching that you all provide, you know, this business owner was able to go from a $1,000 or $3,000 contract to an $80,000 contract within 6 months, which is amazing. That is a great story.
Well, what was great is that he was willing to really work on his business. And when you get a loan with us, it does come with a string, and that string is you need to commit to meeting with your business coach at least monthly and working with your business coach to pull together monthly financials.
And I will say this, because a lot of the information that you all require is really information that a business owner should have in line and in order to feasibly run their company effectively anyway. Is that correct?
Absolutely. But having been a small business owner myself twice,
yes,
we don't do those kind of details very well.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really thrilled through BOI to be able to offer that kind of free service where we can come alongside folks who aren't naturally wired to do QuickBooks or to do a cash management spreadsheet and help them do that and help them learn that it's really not as difficult as it may sound.
You know, one of the things I find with our businesses is, because you said something key, is that a lot of times they don't even need the loan. They need to manage their money better.
That's right.
And what I find is, especially with a lot of the city contractors, a lot of our vendors will take on a contract, they'll get another one, they'll start robbing one contract to pay the other contract, and pretty soon they create this, it's not necessarily, it's a real debt, but not a real debt. Does that make sense?
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
That's exactly right. And that's what, when we start working with folks at a point of cash flow and analyzing on a very simple spreadsheet where their cash is coming from and where it's going to. So for example, we have someone who had a candy and ice cream store, or a candy store, and they also sold ice cream. And she wanted money for a fudge machine, $4,000 for a fudge machine. So we were able to work with her in determining that, yes, fudge is a great profit margin for you, but in helping her manage her cash, we saw that she had one line of revenue that she thought was line of revenue, selling ice cream, that was actually an expense. She lost money every time she sold an ice cream cone. And so by identifying that, hey, sell all your ice cream stuff, stop doing that, and within 4 months she was able to buy that fudge machine herself and didn't have to incur any debt. And was operating more effectively.
Yeah, that's amazing. And those are the types of services that especially small business owners, you know, could really benefit from having, you know, another set of eyes kind of looking at their financials. And, you know, what I find talking to a lot of business owners is, you know, as a business owner, we do great at the product or the service that we provide, but not so well on the financial side. And so, you know, if you don't have kind of, you know, the full circle of things, that can be really, really detrimental for your for your business. So, so if I was a business owner and I had this great idea, but I didn't really know where to start, and I just walked into the door at BOI, what could I expect?
Well, you'll meet first one-on-one with one of our business coaches, and we will start you very simply on our simple cash management tool. It's a one-page spreadsheet that you can take with you electronically, and we start you working through what expenses might you incur. And then once we get a handle for the reality of the expenses, because oftentimes people don't think, oh, I got to pay. Ooh, I've got to pay taxes on that, or I've got to have insurance. Once we get a handle on the reality of that, then we start looking at your possible revenue streams and find out whether there's a viable positive cash assessment. We don't determine whether your idea is good, but can you make $1 from it? So essentially, do you have an idea for a business, or do you have an idea for a hobby?
Right.
And a business
Big
is something
difference,
you make $1 from.
Well, I think a lot of people, that is the challenge. And even here, when they come to us, it's not our job to tell you if your idea is going to work or not. That's not what we're here for. But we want you to understand, is this something that really is going to help you to be successful? Is it going to make you money, or is it going to cause you to go in debt?
That's right.
I mean, and we're not the subject matter experts when it comes to financial planning. That's why we have partners like BOI who can help us, as we have our clients that we can send to you or others who can help with the actual need of that particular client. But the other thing is, tell us about the goal of BOI. What's BOI's goal?
Our goal is to make Indianapolis the best place to start a healthy business. Because, we all know that small business is the engine that runs this economy.
That's right.
So it makes sense that starting a lot of them and starting them off on the right foot would really lend toward that goal. So, and through that, we would like to demystify what it takes to make a successful business. A lot of people think, in order to have a successful business, I have to hire 4,000 people, and no. Everybody has different individual goals for their business and for their families, and so we just want to make sure that you're making the most cash from the thing that you're spending the most time in. And if we can do that, if we can have a population that more than any other city knows their cash situation, knows where their money's coming from and when, and knows where their money is going to and when, then Indianapolis is going to win on the entrepreneurship stage.
That sounds great.
I agree. I'd like to ask you one more quick question about the programming at BOI, because I know that you provide, resources for startup businesses, but for more established businesses that are just maybe looking for some educational tools and some things like that, do you actually provide those types of services as well?
Yes, we absolutely do. In fact, you would be surprised at the number of existing businesses that we serve who as desperately need that cash management tool as the startups. It's because that cash management tool can tell you a lot about your business, whether you can hire someone else, whether you even need to hire someone else. So we start there first, but we also have a really robust curriculum that we are affiliated with the Kauffman Foundation, which is kind of the gold standard for entrepreneurship research. And they've taken all this worldwide research that they've developed over decades and condensed it into curriculum. So we have that available, and we also like to, for those businesses who are very committed to growth and very committed to growth of their business, we do have a growth venture series wherein we put together about 15 business owners to develop their own network within each other and to work with successful business owners here in the community on a weekly basis for 10 weeks to grow their businesses. Is very exciting.
Awesome. It sounds like a really great program. Now, we haven't talked much about the Central Indiana Women's Business Center today. So could you tell us a little bit about that and maybe some of the initiatives or key initiatives that you all are working with in that arena?
I would be honored to. The Business Ownership Initiative has been funded since 2004 by the Small Business Administration to house the Central Indiana Women's Business Center. And we serve about 70% of the 1,000 or so clients we see per year are women. And so we have recently developed the Central Indiana Women's Business Center Council, chaired by Patty Prosser. And the goal of that council for this year is twofold. Number one, to do a resource mapping within the community to find all of the resources that would be available to a business person, and we're pulling them together on the Central Indiana Women's Business Center portion of the BOI website. And so that's very, very exciting.
Absolutely.
Because we don't want to duplicate any efforts, but we want to show to busy people and busy women in an efficient manner what's available to them for needs. And then we're going to be putting together some small support group programs for women to get together and talk about issues that pertain to them in their business, and kind of develop a small network within each group of folks who can answer a phone call late at night of stress and share with each other, groups of iron and sharpening iron.
Yeah. So as business owners, you know, there's no stress involved in that, is there?
Never.
No
Yeah,
stress.
We look for stress every day. No stress in making payroll.
That's awesome, because women-owned businesses are the fastest growing
Yes.
segment of business ownership in our country. And so I'm excited about the Central Indiana Women's Business
Yes.
Center and some of the initiatives, you know, working with some of the other organizations in the city to bring that to fruition. So that's awesome.
You know, we see even the growth of women-owned businesses here through our certification.
Absolutely.
I think even in the last, 4 years, we've seen it grow substantially. And even that, and the opportunities that have come from the city of Indianapolis, I think when we first started, women were getting something like $2 million worth of business with the city of Indianapolis. And now it's up to something like $51 million 1 year. I think it was the year 2011.
I think it was 2010.
And 10, it was up to $51 million worth of business went to women-owned business. 2 million to 51 in over a 4-year period. That's huge.
It is huge.
It is huge, and it should be huge, and it should be bigger with the legacy of Madam C.J. Walker.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Indianapolis, we should be
Yes.
leaving every other city in the dust in terms of the success of women-owned businesses. So, you know, I know Terry, with working with you on the Women's Business Center Council, we have a lot to do, and we're just
Absolutely.
getting started. But we really need to honor Madam Walker's legacy
Absolutely.
and just tear it up.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Indianapolis is such, you know, we get to brag on our great city, but it's such a great city to start a business. Or to just be a business owner. And, you know, I've traveled across the country, you know, quite a bit, and I am actually originally from Michigan and was just there recently, and just kind of to see, you know, the economic climate that, you know, they're dealing with, and some of the issues that they're trying to dig themselves out of because, you know, of, you know, sheer economic climate and what's happened in recent years. And, you know, just to see, you know, to come from there and to come back home to Indianapolis to see, you know, the building that's going on and all of the construction projects and, you know, all of the opportunity that's available in the state of Indiana. It is just amazing. It's an amazing place to be here. And we're excited for our business owners that, you know, are able to, you know, kind of take advantage of those opportunities. So.
Right. Well, you know, one thing about this is, and we're glad Terry came from Michigan and settled here at Indianapolis.
I am too.
Yes,
We're happy about that. But one thing I see is women have diversified their businesses more.
Yes.
I think that has made a big difference. When you look, even more women in the construction area.
Yes.
And that's even since I've been in the Director of Minority Women Business here under Mayor Ballard. I'm just going to tell you, that's also been something that Mayor Ballard has pushed to make sure that there was access to opportunities for all those businesses who want to, whether you're minority women, veteran, majority business owner. He wanted to make sure that everybody could get on this economic engine that drives the city, and you can see that through all the projects that we do. That's why this question is, do you look at people's business plans when they come in to evaluate how they've built their financial piece into their business plan?
Oh yes, that is critical.
Okay.
A number of people, most of the people that we see really don't have a business plan, so we help them to build it. And, you know, if they're not, one of the tools that we like to use is a one-page business plan. Because sometimes people, well, I know I've been guilty of this myself. I build a business plan that's 50 pages long, and then, ooh, I'm glad that's done, set it on the shelf and it gathers dust.
Right.
Yes.
But the key is we try to help people really hone in on their goals. What are the strategies behind them? What are the tactics that they need to implement on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis? But having a plan is critical, because what is measured grows.
Right. And having a plan that doesn't sit on the shelf, but then that you can take a look at maybe a year down the line and say, you know, maybe we need to alter this a little bit, and, you know, strategically do this or do that to get to our end goal or our goal for 5 to 10 years down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my one-page business plan. I got to have something that I can tape on the wall behind the computer screen.
Yeah.
So you're saying that me as a business owner, if I was a business owner, that I can come to you, I might not need that loan, but you can help me understand whether I need it or not?
Oh yes, absolutely. That's our whole goal, is to help you understand what you need so that you know what to go get. Because entrepreneurs don't lack for the ability to extend effort or the willingness to extend effort. But it's just working smart, and we don't want people to work 23 hours a day. We want people to be able to work efficiently and smart by having a plan that makes sense and that they can follow.
Is there anything you don't do at BOI? I mean, just listening to you, I mean, is there anything you don't do? Well,
you know, business ownership is simple, but it affects everything because it's cash.
It's cash.
And just that's our true north, is helping people get to cash through their own creative ideas and effort.
Well, I think I'm going to use that. It's all about cash. And I'll credit you with that.
You don't have to do that.
But it's all about cash. Listen, Julia, it's a pleasure having you here today. We appreciate it. And I want to thank you and hope that you'll come back and share additional information in the future.
I would love to. Thank you.
And for those of you who would like to know more about Business Ownership Initiative or the Central Indiana Women's Business Center, visit the website online at www.businessownership.org or call their offices at 317-917-3266.
Again, thanks, Julie. Well, that ends our show. Thanks for tuning in to Your Business Connection.